Everyone, it's Kirei here for Hey Little Magpie, and I have a brand new layout, and I'm using the fabulous Simple Stories Simple Vintage Flannel Season collection, and I'm also using the Hey Little Magpie November embellishment kit. So I've pulled out some pattern papers. This one here is the plaid one. It's called Warm and Fuzzy, and I'm going to use this as a border on my layout. So I think I'm just looking. It's about a 1 inch border, and I'm just going to gut the center so that I can keep that center piece to use for another layout. So never waste paper. Of course, I'm going to distress the edges of the white cardstock that I've cut down, and I've cut that down to that's a 10 inch, just over a 10 inch square. So I'll get that stuck down, and then I can crack on with the rest of the layout. And as per typical, start video and your ATG gun runs out of tape. Well, actually, I don't think it ran out of tape. It actually caught and double backed on itself, so I had to sort that out when I stopped the camera. Okay, right. We have now got that stuck down, and I've got 3 photos here, and I'm working with 3 square photos. So the largest one is about 3 3/4 inch square, and the smaller ones are around about 2.5 inches square. That's including the white borders. Now, I do print my photos on a small Canon selfie printer, and they're edited before that in Photoshop, where I resize them to a square. But yeah, I do my printing on, as I say, Canon selfie. The small squares are printed 2 up with white borders. The large one is just a printed 1 up. Okay, so I'm playing around here. I've got the pattern paper here. This is the 2x2, 4x4 elements pattern paper, and I've cut out some of the smaller squares here. I've got the sort of plain colour with the snowflakes. I've got that small scene there that I'm playing around with, which I rather liked. I don't end up using it. It didn't work because it sort of got in the way of the 2 photos. It just seemed to be like it was another photo when it's not. So that changes out eventually. And then I've got, this is the ephemera. So this one is the floral bits ephemera. So I'm just pulling out some of the flower and pine cone clusters, and I'm just going to add those to those squares around my photos. So the pattern paper squares, that is. And then I've got the little berry clusters. I've got some of the leaf branches that I'm just going to add in there. I've got that clip at the top on the large photo. So this is where I sort of start with the layout. I think it's sort of, I sort of get and I sort of have an idea of what I'm doing with the background, but it's getting the photos down and then playing around with placement and ephemera. And I sort of have a play with all of that first. Then once I'm happy with it, I take a photo. I have another camera, another phone that I just have, an old one that I use for that. And then I can reference it as I'm going through. So I'm pretty happy with how things are looking, so I can start to now get things stuck down and finalize. So I'm obviously going to back my photos here because I'm working with a white background. I definitely wanted to back them. So I've got the this is one of the 4x4 squares from that 2x2 4x4 elements pattern paper. Now I'm adding foam pads just to the top and leaving it flat at the bottom. And of course, I've brought out my trusty T-square just to make sure that it's nice and straight, of course. So I'm still playing around with these squares, and I do a lot of fiddling with this. I've finally taken away that other button square with the sort of little scene on it, and I'm sticking with the 3 snowflake squares. And then I'm now deciding on what to back my other 2 photos with. So again, there's quite a bit of toing and froing and deciding which way I'm going to go. I'm definitely not I wouldn't say I'm not the most decisive. I do like to just make sure. Maybe that would be better. Maybe that would be better. So that's why I think move things around. But that's okay. So I'm obviously using the same pattern paper as the border, but I'm just using the other side of it with the script on it. It's just that darker, sort of very dark navy. And then my other photo I'm backing with, it's sort of like a lined check. So they're all stuck down now. I've got my 3 smaller snowflake squares. I've distressed the edges, and I've decided I just wanted to add something to them. So I'm going to do a little bit of stitching. So I'm just piercing the stitching holes now, and then I'm going to add some stitching with some white thread. So and I don't do a lot of stitching actually. I should do more because actually it does look really lovely, and you just get that extra sort of texture. It just creates another, you know, level of texture or dimension on a layout, and I do love doing it. But yeah, it can, because it can take a little while sometimes. I tend to sort of, sometimes I just don't even think about it. But it wasn't too long because it was only these 3 small squares. So there we go. They're all stitched, and then I can get those stuck down, and I will back them with just a square of foam tape there. And then I can get those down and start to add my ephemera. So again, bringing in my T-square to make sure that they're nice and straight. I just could not have them where I look and think that looks a little bit wonky. I know some people are great. They just stick it down happy. Well, yeah, definitely not me. Okay. And then I've got my Celebrate title here from the um, November embellishment kit, the Hey Little Magpie November embellishment kit, and it is such lovely detail. The wood, the etching on it, it's really nice and deep, and you really get that strong, the Celebrate sort of popping through. So yeah, it is really, really lovely actually. So I thought it was perfect for my photo. These are from last year, last December, and it was my old Disney work team actually, and we were all together up in York because one of the team was actually getting married, so we were all going to the wedding the next day. So we were all staying together in a house just on the outskirts of York. So we went into York City and into the Shambles and to a pub for dinner, which was lovely. So that was really, really nice. So the Celebrate worked perfectly. Firstly, celebrating being with my team, because we don't work together anymore, but also celebrating the fact that we had a wedding as well, which was lovely. So I'm putting together my embellishment clusters here. So I'm using as I say before, the ephemera, the floral bits, but I've also got the 12 by 12 cardstock stickers, which is that little car at the bottom is really cute. And it has like it's two a snowman and a snow lady in it. And I thought that really represented the fact that we were going to a wedding. So I really like that. I thought it was really cute. So I've added that. And then you can see I've got that stitched blue stitched star down the bottom. Well, there's 2 of them. They're from the embellishment kit as well, and I thought they picked out sort of bluey tones as well, so I thought I'm definitely going to add those. Now at the top here you can see, like on the right, I'm just tucking the floral ephemera underneath, and then I'm layering in the leaf pieces and the little berry branches. What I was trying to do here was making sure that I was adding a little pop of red to each of my clusters, just to bring in the fact that I've got the plaid around the outside. Oh, and I forgot to mention, you might have noticed I've now got a blue sort of dark navy border around my white cardstock. I did add that in off camera. I just decided I felt like I needed something to balance between the white and the plaid. So I added the blue, and that is the Ready Set Snow pattern paper. It's got snowflakes on it. And then I'm just tucking a little tiny paper clip again from the embellishment kit, along with little word banner that says Winter Joy. I always forget to add the paper clips before I put foam pads along the top, so I'm there sort of fiddling around. And then I'm just adding my final little bits and pieces. I've got the enamel dots that I'm just adding a little three of them in the cluster at the bottom, and I will add them to the 2 other clusters as well. And there we go. There's the final layout. Here are some of the close-ups. You'll see the fabulous elements from the November embellishment kit, and of course that fabulous Simple Stories Simple Vintage Flannel Season collection. I hope you've enjoyed watching my process video, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now.